Okay, I think how far they've progressed. Okay, sorry for being late actually because I was busy in another class. Okay, so first quickly let me know that how many of you are completely new to AutoCAD. Just you can type down in the chat like how many of you are completely new to AutoCAD. Say yes, like never opened AutoCAD or like never tried it. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think I guess more or less every one of you are like already comfortable with AutoCAD. Like can I consider that? Because I'm asking this, or else I will start from the very beginning and basics. That's why.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What? I should start from the very basic or what?
No, sir. We know the basics.
Now again one question comes that like how much do you know, right? Okay, someone
We know
has
the basics. We can draft.
okay. Let's do one thing. We can spend 2 or 3 days on AutoCAD basics, and like we will apply some new concepts that I'm sure that you are will be new for you, like some tricks in AutoCAD and all those things. So let's start from the very basic because someone has typed that never tried it. Okay. Anyway, so basically this is how your AutoCAD interface looks. This is 2016 version, and some of you might be using latest versions like 2019 or 2020, but I'm pretty much comfortable with this version. That's why I'm using it. Before that, I used to use 2012, and 2007 is also very popular because the most of the experienced CAD draftsmen, you can say, who are right now in the industry, basically they have been using it since 10 or 20 years. Not 20 years, sorry, I mean 10 or more than that. So that's why what happened, like they are very much comfortable with 2007 version. And the 2007 version that ma'am was using actually is completely not, I'll say that more or less very much, I mean, different from this particular interface. So people, I'd consider that none of you uses 2007 version, right? Or if someone uses 2007 version, just let me know. So basically this is how your AutoCAD interface looks like. And to start AutoCAD drafting, I'm not going to tell you each and every tool and use of that. You can yourself explore that. So basically I'll be telling you what will be the shortcuts and basics and how quickly you can draft a plan, a building plan basically, which we are dealing with in this internship. So this is how your interface look, and you can see there are grid lines and snap mode. You can use the grid lines to get references when you are like starting your drafting from a conceptual plan. You can keep it on the left side and start drafting on the right side. That's because you basically, we are all right-handed and we have a tendency to go from left to right. That's why. And so basically you can use those grid that for that purpose, like to get some references from the conceptual plan, or else you can simply switch off this grid. Now a very basic thing, like many of you who are already using AutoCAD, you might be accustomed or I mean comfortable with using a dark screen, right? Because a dark skin, I mean this particular background which I'm using is white, but many of you might be already using the dark mode. So what happens? That dark background gives a kind of comfortable to your eyes, because if you are becoming a pro draftsman who will be drafting for hours, sitting at a particular place, so you need to give some kind of comfort to your eyes, right? So that's why using a dark skin is soothing sometimes. But I prefer white background. That's a very common and basic reason is that because whenever you are drafting only with monochrome diagrams. That means either your lines will be black or white. So basically your lines will be black. That means the plan that will be printed, that will be in black and white. So you will use the colors only which are in gradients of black, different gradients of black. That means dark gray, black, light gray, gray. Okay, so those colors. So at that time you can use a dark skin, because upon a dark skin you can draft using white lines. That is no use. That is no problem is there. But what happens when you use colors in your plans? So for suppose you will have a dark background here, like I'm doing now. You can change from here. I'll say that also. Okay, basically just right click on the blank screen, go to options, and you will see the settings there, and go to the drafting tab, click on colors, and from the you can see there, this is the context, that is 2D model space that I'm using currently, the 2D. Then go to uniform background and you can choose the color. And if I select black, so my this background is now black. So what happens, if you are comfortable using on a black background or dark background, you can drop the lines, no issues with that. But what will happen when you are drafting a colorful plan? That means using you are using different color for walls, different color for furniture. Okay, like brown for furniture, black for walls, or white for walls, different colors. But at the end of the day, maybe you are choosing some light colors for your furnitures, or maybe to show the vegetation you are using this particular shade of green, light green. Okay, so you can plot that very easily on a black screen. But at the end of the day, your plan or your design will be printed on a white sheet, right? So what will happen at that time? This particular green line, let me take another example. Maybe this blue line, which is basically very much, this is very much clear and prominent on black background. But when you will be using this particular drawing for and sending it to for print, what will happen? It will be printed on a white screen, I mean a white sheet. So at that time, you can see how much faded it is. Okay, so that is the problem. That is why I prefer working on white background, because on white background I get to select the colors as per suitability with a white background. So the way I will be seeing my plan on screen will be as it is in the printed version. Obviously you can change the colors of your line after you finish drafting. You can change them directly from the layer, but that is extra burden at that time. So it is better that you start from a white screen. That will be also very suitable for your work. Then the next thing, before going to tools, I want to say something. If you are a professional, like if you are willing to become a professional architect or a professional draftsman, professional engineer, whatever it is, if you are gonna draft professionally, the key to a seamless and smooth working flow is that you have to draw in layers. You know the layer concept, I'll say it today. The layer concept is that, suppose this is a very white background. I'm drawing something on this, okay, like some random lines, and then I'm gonna draw another shape. As you can see, I'm using line tool for this drafting, and that is simply from, you can take it from this here, or you can also use the command line, L enter. These commands and all that, those are also mentioned in the PDF that ma'am provided. You can easily refer to that PDF to draft a plan. But I will say something which is maybe mentioned or not mentioned in there, or maybe you should follow to make your workflow more smooth and easy. So I'll be using this circular tool. Suppose I'm gonna draw a circle here. Okay, Fine. So maybe so these are two different elements, right? Okay, let me start with a plan. Actually, that will be easier for you. The AutoCAD screen is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, this is a plan, steel building design basically. So I will show you the layout. Or maybe just a minute. Yeah, for example, this elevation drawing. Okay, so you can see this is a industrial set or building. These are the GI seat. Okay, basically the seats that are used for wall claddings as wall claddings or covers to a building, a steel frame. So what I have done here, you can see the layers. This many layers are there. Like the sheet 1, sheet 2, these are two different layers. So what will happen if I draw each and every element? Like I'll use a layer for this sheet, I'll use a layer, different layer for this pipe, I'll use a different layer for the normal black boundary lines, I'll use different layer for windows, I'll use a different layer for doors. So what will happen in the when you will be submitting your drawings, you need to submit drawings in different categories. Like you have to submit a beam column, a floor plan, where only the arrangements will be shown. That is also known as the general arrangement drawing, GAD. Okay, and maybe you will be showing a beam column plan where no furnitures will be shown, only the beams and columns positions will be shown. Maybe you will be showing the site plan where only the outer outer line of your plot, I mean, will be there, and at the same time your building outer wall will be there only. No interior facilities will be shown at that site plan. Okay, so in that place you can easily switch off the layers. If you have drawn the walls in separate layer, if you have drawn the outer boundaries in separate layer, so you can switch off this easily. For example, in my case, I'm switching off these two, sheet 1 and sheet 2. So easily I can show this to my client and say that this is the basically shape of the building. I can show the dimensions here. Okay, and like this is the thing how it will look without the sheet. I mean, without the GI sheet, the covering wall claddings. So there are a lot of flexibility. You can on and off the layers and use those. Okay, so that's how you're gonna like level up your drawing. Everyone uses more or less everyone uses layers, but many people also don't know the actually the main basic concept of layer. So in residential plan, like when you'll be planning like doing a residential plan, in that case, for example, in this case, this is the basic general arrangement inside that particular food storage. So these are the food baskets. This grid line you can see. These are the what do you say that? These are some kind of a jali. What do you say that? Iron sheet. Okay, upon which those baskets are kept. So that is how their plan was. So basically I can easily switch off the text if I put all the text in a separate layer. As in my case, I have this GI sheet layer, then food box. I can easily switch off the food boxes and show them how the simple plan will look without the food boxes. Then I have my truss, each solar panels, each and everything in a separate layer. So that is the thing. You need to draw everything in a separate layer. So now I will show you how to do that. Okay. And so that is layer concept is something that you should keep in your mind from the very beginning of drafting of any plan. The plans till now which you have made, maybe you have drafted something and selected the outer walls. Okay. For example, yeah, this is also a cool thing about using layers. So this is basically the the general arrangement drawing of the site. The main food can go down and the facilities around it. So for suppose you suddenly want to change the color of the walls. So what will you do? You'll select each and every line of wall like this, and then click on here and change the color. No, if you have done it within a layer, you can simply open it from the list. Maybe the wall layer, I don't know where it is. For suppose this is the window. I can easily click and change the color of the windows. I can easily click and change the color of the walls. So that is the convenience of your work. That is how you will become more convenient at your work. So you need to do that. So you can easily change colors. Maybe after when you'll be printing this drawing, in most of the cases, what happens, your drawing looks perfect in the screen, but when you'll print it, have you ever tried like printing something random, whichever you have, whatever you have drawn, have you ever tried printing it? You'll see a lot of difference what you see in the screen and on the printed paper. Okay, for example, when this is this color you are watching right now on the screen, this sky color, this is not a color, these are single lines. Okay, these are single lines. So what happened when we printed this line thickness was so much thick that it all overlapped with each other and basically gave it a very dark gradient of sky blue color. So what we had to do, we had to reduce the thicknesses, and in your open eye in the skin, you cannot say like understand the difference between a zero thickness line and a 0.02 inches thickness line. You cannot observe it, or you cannot differentiate, or you cannot understand the contrast between two different thick line, because within the AutoCAD screen it's always the same. It will look same at least. So at that time what happens, you can only understand it when you'll be watching a proper print view or after printing it on the paper. So in that case, you need to again change the thicknesses of that line, the colors of that line. So you cannot just sit and select each one of these line, or you can, even if you select like this, okay, maybe you will take so many times, so much of time, like you will waste so much of your times. Maybe another different line also gets selected on the way. So at that time, your layers will help you, because I have kept all these lines in this GI sheet layer. So I'll simply click on this and change the color of this. That is a very wrong color. What can I say? Whatever. So that is how your layer is gonna help you. Okay. So this is the importance of layer. Like in this case, the bracings. So if you even if you are considering a residential building or plan, in that case, your colors, playing with colors, playing with thicknesses, okay, line types, everything will help, and everything will be much more easier if you work in layers. So the plan which many of you have already started drafting plan on AutoCAD. So there is a advice that you keep your doors in a separate layer named as door. You keep your windows in a separate layer known as windows, and I'll show you how to do that. Just let me open a plan. Just a second. Let me know how many of you are like already using this layer thing, like already drafting plans and all those things in different layer. How many of you are doing it already? Okay, Sayan is already doing good. That's good. Like okay, Chanchal is also doing. So you guys are doing it knowingly, or like out of curiosity, or like you already felt it that there should be everything should be done in separate layer, or you guys like if you have already learned AutoCAD, maybe in classes you have been also told this thing, but many times they skip this part because they basically focus in the AutoCAD trainings or the drafting class trainings. Basically, what they focus is on is how they can come through all the commands and all these options and features available in AutoCAD. They focuses on the commands, they focuses on the features, but they don't cover the application part, which like students themselves explore it. Okay, good. That's good, Sarshich. So basically, this is a plan, very simple plan. The 3D version of this, you already saw it, the Photoshop plan, that is the same plan. So in this case, I think these are not done in separate layers because this was drafted by, okay, fine. So at this case, what you can do, this is actually exploded. This was, we actually locked this and we blocked the complete sheet because it was sent for the print. That's why. So everything is exploded here. You can see each and every element of this drawing is separated. So basically what you can do that even if you don't start with different layers, after completion of your drawing, you can also add them to the layer. So what will you do? Basically just simply select, for example, I'm selecting the windows. Before that, just create a new layer and you can do that from here. This is the, okay. I have my layer tab, yeah. So you can create a new layer. Maybe I'll rename it as window. Okay, and maybe I set these colors to brown. Okay, now I'll just simply select these lines which are representing the window. Okay, and you can already see this is in the 0th layer. Okay, because when you are selecting something, it will show within which layer it is. So basically, I have selected all the windows. Then I can simply go to this tab and click on window. So now you can see all these lines, window lines, have been inserted into the window layer, and as well as the color has also been changed because we have set the layer color as brown, and at the same time here it is showing that by layer. Okay, so basically what does mean actually, this particular line, okay, this is coming under a window, so this particular line is inside the window layer, that is why. And at the same time, in the color option where you can change the color of that line, it is saying by layer. So if this by layer option is selected, that means the color of the line will be decided by the layer. That means this is the color of that layer, so this will also be the color of the line. And if you just want to change it, you can still change, like I'm doing it, coloring it blue, so it is still inside the window layer, but its color is blue because I have manually changed it. So you can do that also. It doesn't mean, maybe you are representing your toilet window with green color. Okay, I'm just, suppose you are just assume that, don't do that. But like you are representing your toilet windows with green color and you want to represent all other windows with the brown color. So you can easily do that. But all the windows are within the window layer only. So within a layer also you can go for different colors. But this is the primary color of that particular layer. Okay. So if you change it, all the elements within it will be changed. So this is the thing. So that's how you can even add your lines or add your different elements of the drawing inside the layer actually. So for example, I'm selecting all the walls. Okay, and I'm gonna put them inside a wall layer. And what happens also, I'll show you that. Suppose this is my wall layer. I have sent them inside the wall layer. Okay, now I can change the color of that wall layer. I can, let me just go for maybe green. Okay. So one more important thing is that I've left this portion. So one more important thing is there. Whenever you are doing something within a layer, there is also one more advantage. Let me show you that. For example, now all the wall elements, the interior wall, you can also make two different layers for walls. One is interior wall, that is the 5-inch wall, and another is the 10-inch wall. You can do that also. That will be more, better. That will be better, and that will be more convenient when you are working with a big plan or a complicated drawing. So one more advantage is that, for example, this is the wall line. Okay, this is this is also coming under the wall layer. So now suppose I want to select all the wall lines at a time. Okay, so till now what I have done, I have selected all the wall lines individually because those were not coming under any kind of group or any layer. Now what I can do, I can simply select a line which comes under the wall layer and right click on it and click on select similar. So what it will do, it will select all the similar lines that comes under that particular same layer. So that is one more advantage of drafting within layers. So now you can easily see that within 2 seconds I selected all the lines. So those are the pro tips, or maybe you are already using these things, but still many of you just don't know the use of what are the advantage of parts of drawing within layers. So that is the importance. That's how you can utilize it. So in this way you can put all the separate elements, because now if I select this and click on select similar, it will select everything, every text in the drawing, because yeah, obviously all the text those are put in the same layer. So if I create a new layer called text and keep this text inside that particular layer and then click on select similar, it will only select the particular text that are already kept in that particular layer. So that is the advantage. Okay, and now coming to the part that how we can make this plan. Okay, because in your drafting classes you was introduced to the layer concept after knowing all these drafting tools maybe, but this is something which you should know from the very beginning, because we'll use that. Okay, so when you are starting over a fresh sheet like this where there is no new layer, the zero is basically the by default layer, you can say. Okay, then maybe you will be drafting a new plan. Okay, then what are the layers you can make? First you can make walls, maybe 10-inch wall, just name it. Okay, then maybe 5-inch wall, then window and doors, you can keep them in the same layer also. It depends on you, like how you are going to use them. In complicated, if you don't at all follow the concept of layer, you can still draft a plan very quickly, because you are dealing with residential project, a simple small plan. But whenever you will be dealing with a much complicated project, maybe you are doing a plan for a real estate project where you will be dealing with 10,000 20,000 square feet areas, where there will be like 20 or 30 different flats, different towers. So at that time, you need to follow your layer concept, because what happens, this particular drafting process or this thing goes under a number of revisions, and you have to redo many things. So because the client wants something else, or maybe there is some design changes, some requirement specification changes, so you need to do a lot of revisions at that time. So keeping everything in separate layer is, like like tying a knot and keeping it with you. You can pull any of the string whenever you want. That is the thing. So you can use different layers for 4 feet doors, 2-inch doors. You can do anything if there is requirement, or maybe even for a small plan, you can do the window and door layer. You can keep them within the same layer as well. Then maybe I create a layer for text. Then yes, also a layer for furnitures. Okay. Different layer for columns maybe. If this particular tab is not showing here, you can switch it on from the view option. There are different, this viewport configuration. Here you can do that, like how you want to divide your workspace into different parts. Those are things like very basic typical things which comes under AutoCAD. If you still finding any problems, you can ask it in the group. Okay, you'll be like provided the solution. Don't worry. But like, I'm not gonna waste on like spending all the time behind each and every command. So basically, if you ask about the commands, maybe 8 to 10 commands you need to draw your plan. Okay, and not more than that. So basically, line command is the very basic command, and this is the ortho option which you should keep it on, because if you want to draw something on a very 90-degree angle specific direction, you want to mention, like, maintain all those direction thing, you should do this. Okay, and this is the very basic or fast command you'll learn in AutoCAD. And then comes the selection. If I talk about selections, there are 2 different kinds of selections in AutoCAD. Those who know AutoCAD, they are already familiar with it, and you know the use of it. And those who don't know, for them I'm telling you that there is 2 different kind of selection. Okay, so suppose this is my object, okay, and I want to select all the columns, not the beams, all the columns. So if I have already put the columns in a layer, I can easily select one column and right click and select similar. Using the select similar command, I can select all the columns within seconds. But if you are manually selecting all the columns for the first time, so what will you do at that time? There is 2 different types of selection. One is from left to right, and another is from right to left. Okay, I think there is a separate names for this kind of selection, but I like prefer it to remember in this way, that left to right selection and right to left selection. So what happens whenever you are selecting from left to right, and how to select, actually you don't have to like drag it in AutoCAD. Okay, in dragging in AutoCAD will give you a free path of selection tool, but just simply click once and release, and then like hover your mouse, and you can select the things. So what is this basic difference between this left to right or blue selection and right to left or green selection, you can say? So what is the basic difference? The basic difference is that in the left to right or the blue selection, under this particular selection type, whichever elements are coming in 100% covering the 100% area, those particular elements will be selected. So what is that? What did Sir actually said? So nothing. See, this is one line. Okay, this starts here and ends here. So 100% of the line stays within this to this limit. Okay. So what happens when I want to select this particular line with the blue selection option, what I will do, I'll start here and cover all the portion up to where this line is existing. Then only this line will be selected. Take it as an example of the column. If I want to select the column with the blue selection, I have to cover all the portion. What happens if I don't cover all the portions? See, the column is not selected. I'm not covering all the portion. The column is not selected. So if I cover all the portion, then it will be selected. And if I don't want to cover all the portions, the column will not be selected with blue selection option. Okay. So in order to use the blue selection, you need to cover that particular object completely to select that. And this is the opposite. The green selection is that whichever elements are coming inside your green selection area, all the elements will be selected. For example, I am selecting only this much portion of the particular column. See, I have just touched the column and it is already selected. And as well as these two lines, this line and this line is also selected, because this comes under this particular dotted selection or green selection, you can say, this right to left selection option. So all the elements whichever comes under this particular selection, even a small part. So how to use that one? So okay, there is two different kind of selection tool. One where you have to, in order to select, you have to cover the whole area, and with the another selection option, you have to select a very minimum or a certain portion. You will select the whole object. So what is the use of that? The use of that is, suppose I want to select all the columns, as I was saying earlier. So what I will do, I'll just select like this. Now why I have done this? I could have also did it like this way, but no. In that case, my beans will also be selected. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm just selecting a certain portion within which the column is existing as it 100%. Because you can see some portion of the beam is also coming under this particular blue selection option. Okay, but still it is not getting selected because that particular beam is not 100% covered with this particular blue selection tool. So that is the benefit. I'm only covering the column for 100%. That's the way I can select all the columns. And like if I think this is a gradient. Yeah, this is a gradient. Let's try another example. Like for example, I want to erase all the those inner lines in the window. So how I can do that? I can just simply select this much portion, because that will, you can see those are highlighted, the windows. Okay. So so my windows, these patterns are only selected. So I can easily select and move them, replace them, copy them, or delete them. But if I want to select, if I do the right to left selection, all the things that is coming under this particular option, that will also be selected, like this outer lines as well. So you can easily understand this is very useful when you are selecting different objects for different purposes. Okay, so that is the two different types of selection tool. If you guys are like facing problem, you can ask, like, did you understand the proper use of these two different kind of selection and why they exist? For example, I want to delete all the text stuff. Okay, so what I can do, I can select like this, and you can see also a wall line is also coming under this selection, so I cannot delete it in this way. So in that case, what I will do, I'll select it in this way, or maybe I can use right click selection also, right to left. It will be easier. Now I can delete it. Okay, but for suppose example, you want to delete all the wall lines, interior wall lines. So I can do it in this way. I'll select, okay, only wall lines are selected. Or in the, if I go from right to left, in this way, all the text that were coming under that particular selection, that is also deleted, like selected. So I don't want that. So that's why what I'll do, I'll use the left to right, because that will only cover my wall portions. So you have to see and realize it on yourself. There are two difference. A selection which only selects the area or portion or object or entity that is coming in 100% or complete area is coming under that selection, that will be selected with the blue selection. Okay, and with the green selection tool, whichever area, even a very small part of a particular object or line or polyline that is coming under that, the entire thing will be selected. So these are the two different types of selection. And then there is shapes like circles, rectangles. You can use those to simply draft. You can also enter the values manually. As you can see, this is showing 45061, something like that. So you can manually enter the dimensions. For example, maybe I'm using 2000 by 2000. This is an mm actually. So this is a 2 meter by 2 meter box, very small, because it is small because with respect to this particular drawing. And your scaling is also important, and I'll also come back to that later tomorrow, like what will be the page setups and all that. I have just quickly covered briefly basics of the things that you need to understand in AutoCAD. I think using some reference or chart where it will be stated that these things you need to follow, that will be better, and you can refer to that also. So I'll prepare that and provide to you. Don't worry about that. So these are the basics at least that you should keep in mind while going to start something. And obviously, before drafting, you need to set the units and the page setup. You have to do that thing as well. I haven't show you that. I think Devdatta already told you that. But if not, I'm again repeating it. Like you need to first, whenever you will be coming to this particular page, like after setting the screen color, after importing the plan or whatever, the sketch manual, the conceptual sketch, you need to set the dimensions. So how will you set the dimensions of the sheet? First you can do that. You can select a workspace area. That means that whichever, how much portion of area you want to cover. Maybe within this area you want to draw, maybe within this much area you want to draw. So you need to specify the limits. Okay, so before specifying the limits, you need to set up the unit. So that is basically UN enter, that is the unit dialog box will come. So these are the different sets of types available. So which type is used where? Basically decimal is the unit unit format where decimals or points, that is decimal, that is used. And basically we use this kind of representation for when we are doing the drawing in meters or in millimeters. Let's say we are doing it in millimeters, so we'll be using decimal and millimeters. Okay, and this is the precision. That means how much precision you want. So millimeter is your unit. Whatever dimension you will put, it will be inputted as in millimeters. So maybe you want your drawing to be specified as x millimeter dot to up to 2 decimal places. So maybe you want to do it that 254.55 millimeters. But that much accuracy is not needed in case of residential plans. Those are needed, maybe in typical very precise machine designs and all those things. But in building, if you are going up to millimeter, that is sufficient. Or maybe because even millimeters, people don't care, people go for round figures. Okay, so you can easily select precision 0 here. But still, if you want to add some more accuracy, you can use 0.0 or maximum up to 2 decimal places. Because this is like, this looks very, useless when you are showing the dimensions. Like if you are showing a dimensions of your length of a bedroom, okay, maybe it will show you that maybe the bedroom is 3 meters long, okay, then it will show you 3000.000 meter. So what is the use of that? So many zeros, it is like hard to read sometimes. So better you provide zero precisions when you are setting the unit to millimeters. But at the same time, if you are doing it in meters, you need to set the precisions up to 3 decimal places, because that will take you up to the millimeters. Okay. So this is basically if you are using meter or millimeter system, or maybe centimeter. Centimeter people don't use. People generally go for feet or inches or meters and millimeters. So this is the decimal use of that. So if you are doing for engineering works, in that case you can use feet and inches format. This is the feet and inches format, and you need to set also inches as your base unit. Or you can do it in architectural style also. Architectural style also follows the feet and inches format, but it actually helps, or it is very helpful or very easily readable for the very lower class people. Why? Because in this particular case you can see how is the precision looking. 0 feet 1/8 inches. Okay, that means, have you ever seen the inch scale? You will see the inch scale that is divided into some small portions. So if you are putting 1/8, that means they will consider the 1/8 of an inch. They can easily measure that, because there are big, small, and big dashes after each 4 divisions. So it is easy for them to read your drawing. There is nothing to do with yourself. Okay, so this is from a very practical point of view. You can say you can use this kind of dimensions. Many people use this. They basically go for this one. There's 0 feet and 0 1/4 of inches. So basically what they say is that you can divide your 1 inch into 4 different parts. I mean four parts. So that those 4 small parts combines and give it to 1 inch. And you know that 12 inch is 1 feet. So that is how it works. Or apart from that, if you directly want to show them like 8 feet 2 inches, 8 feet 10 inches, 8 feet 6 inches, okay, in that format, then you can use the engineering option. Here you will easily get this 0 feet 0 inch option. So you can show them like 8 feet 2 inch, 8 feet 5 inch. You can show it in that way. Or else you can show it that 8 feet 5 inch, 1/4 of inch. Like 8 feet and what do you say, that 5.5 inch. You cannot show 5.5 inch. At the time you will show 8 feet 5 inch 1/2. That is the thing. That is how you're going to show it. 1/2 inch. That is half inch. So that much precision you can use in architectural format. This has nothing to do with civil engineering or architectural engineering. This is some different way of representing. US people, maybe they use this half inch or 1/4 inch or 3/4 of inch concept. That's why they have put that inside the architectural type. But it depends completely on you that how you are gonna use it. Okay. So in feet and inches drawing, go for engineering. In meter or millimeters, go for decimal. And if in some cases people ask that we don't want to read the drawings in 5 inches or 7 inches, because that is sometimes difficult for the common laborers to measure, because they have steps which are in feet and inches and also as well as millimeters. But what happens if you say that this is 8.5 feet, that means 8 feet 6 inch, they can easily measure that. But if you say that this is 8 feet 5 inches, they again have to calculate, okay, 8 feet 1 2 3 4 5 inch, that way. So in that case, this architectural representation helps them. But at the same time, you can also use that. use this engineering option. And you can also change this within the dimensions also. So no need to worry about that. This is just for your basic drafting. The units or the dimensions will be entering while drafting. In case of representation, you can anytime, you can, you know, do you know that you can easily plot a plan in feet and inches, and still you can show the dimensions in millimeters. And we actually have to do that in many cases, because maybe because, you know, also many of the things are coming along with this particular drafting. Also a structural analysis part is there, also constructional part is there. Maybe the laborers, they are comfortable with feet and inches, maybe the contractors, they are comfortable with meters and millimeters. So what will you do? You will draft the same plan twice, or you will calculate and manipulate and scale down or scale up your plan. No need to do nothing. You just simply can show your same drawing within feet and inches, and at the same time, so what will you do in this case? Suppose this is your plan. Okay, this is in basically millimeter. So suppose these are all in millimeters. Okay, so maybe when I'm sending this to the construction site, the contractor, maybe he or she he wants this particular dimension in feet and inches. So what I'll do, I'll simply just change some settings within the dimensions only, and these will be automatically changed into feet and inches, and I can save that drawing and print it. So I'll have the both of the options. I can, within just one click, I can easily change these two from millimeter to feet and inches, millimeter to inches, millimeter to feet, whatever I want. I can do it within this particular drawing also. No need to worry about that before starting the drawing, because before starting the drawing, the only thing you need to keep in mind is that my drawing should be in proper layers. Each and every element which is separable or which represent different entity, they should be in different respective layers. Okay. And how to keep your drawing clean, how to make it more professional, what are the annotations to be used, those things will be covered in later classes, because there are a lot of things. And if you are talking about drafting, I assume that for drafting a plan, basically the commands you will be needing the line tool. Okay, so this is the line tool, as you can already see. And then after that, you need the offset tool. Offset tool is basically what? Offset means like you want to make a offset of this line. That means you will provide a distance with this line where another line will be there, a same line. So basically in layman language, I can say that you'll be copying this line and put it on a certain distance. Okay, so that is the purpose of offset. And like how to do that, you can enter O, enter, and you can see it's asking for specifying the offset distance. So basically this particular sheet is in, I don't remember, I actually forgot what are the units. Okay, I put it in decimal. No, I need to put in decimals and millimeters. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, so basically, let's say I'm gonna start here, and let's say I'm gonna draw a 1000 mm, that is 1 meter line. Okay, and escape. You can see very small line is there. So how you can zoom, or maybe you can lost the line also. So what will you do? Use enter Z, enter A, enter. That means zoom all. I still lost the line. You know why? Because I haven't set the limit. That's why. So you need to also set the limits after setting your units. So limit means what? You are specific, because this particular AutoCAD drawing sheet, it is an infinite sheet. It doesn't have any limits. You need to put limits to specify your workspace. So I'm putting the limits. So it is asking for the left lower corner. Okay, that means I need to specify the left bottom corner of my drawing working space. So let's assume I'm considering as 0 0, that is the coordinate. Okay, then it is asking for the right top corner. So if I'm gonna like draft a plan, what will be the length of the house? Let's say if in our case it is 60 feet, so it is somewhere around 20 meters. Let's say 25 meters. Okay, I'm not exactly converting it. It will be less than 20 meters, I guess. So what happens? So I'll take a bit higher than 20 meters. So let's say I'm taking 50 meters. So 50 meters, that means 50,000 mm. So that is the thing. And let's say height also 50,000. That means I'm providing the XY of the right top corner of my working space. Okay, so I have set the limits of my drawing space. So now what I can do is Z enter, that is zoom, and A enter. A enter, that means all, or you can click on all also. So what will it will do that now whichever portion you are watching on the screen, the left bottom corner of of this particular screen is considered as 0 0, and the right top corner of the screen is considered as 50 meter, 50 meter, or 50,000 mm, 50,000 mm. So this is my working space. So what will happen? What is the difference? In the initial case, when I haven't set the limit, you can see how small the line was looking. Now I have a working space where my, the sheet length is basically 50 meters. So if I draw a line now, which I'll give maybe 30-meter length, you can easily see this is the 30-meter line. Okay, so it is now easily like watchable, or you can easily see it. And if I enter the Z enter, A enter, you can see how it already like stays at that point. It will not zoom out or zoom in too much, or zoom out very to make it very little, or like very, almost bearable to see it. So that is the thing. You can easily do that. So now I have set the limits. I can easily start drafting. Start with a very, you can start with the outer walls actually. At first, you can plot the boundaries of the of your area. So in our case, it was in feet and inches. It is better if you do in feet and inches. You can easily relate your conceptual plan to the actual plan you will be drafting. Or else, if you have done the conceptual plan in millimeters, you can do it here in millimeters. It is better for working convenience. It is better that you draft in actually what you have drawn in conceptual plan. So if you have done your conceptual plan in feet and inches, draft also in feet and inches, and later we will see whether we want to print it in millimeters or print it in feet and inches. That is just a work of 2-3 seconds. You can do that in seconds, within seconds. Can you show us an example of how to convert our completed drawing from mm to feet inches? That I'll show you tomorrow. You want to see like how I can show it. Okay, so for that I need to introduce you the dimension scale, how we will show the dimensions. So I'll introduce the dimension tomorrow. That's why I haven't said it here, because you need to also set the text dimensions. That is very much small here. That is everything, all the thing that will be stating, that will come under dimension part. Easily we will say that. Yeah. Nothing, you need to enter a particular scale. That's the trick, everyone. Everywhere. You can scale your drawing, but instead of scaling your drawing and making it unproportional, it is better to scale your dimensions. I'll tell you that. So basically, this is how you can draw a line. Then, in order to just simply enter the dimensions or the length of the line. Okay, and you can easily do that. And there is some different options which you can keep on, like end point, midpoint, center. So what are these? So if you keep all these things on, it will, whenever you will be moving your cursor, okay, with the line tool, it will see automatically it detects the endpoint of the line. Here also automatically it will be detecting the center of the line, showing as a triangle. This is the exact center of this particular 30-meter length line. Okay, you can set reference points like this from here. So these are the benefits of keeping this on: endpoint, midpoint, center, geometric center. If you have a closed polygon or something, you can see that nodes. You can keep all these things on. So that is how it is gonna work. And then you can. Why isn't it showing? Or you can manually enter as well. And if your area is completely a rectangle, you can do this using a rectangle tool as well. So suppose example, I'm starting here and I want to specify the length as 30 meter and comma, then the width as 20 meter. So you can see the same thing. But as I have created this with a rectangular tool, it will show as a whole entity. And as I have did this using different single lines, it is showing like this. So this is the thing. So now if you are plotting your doing your plot, then you can, what you can do for showing the exterior wall, you can use this offset command, O enter. It will ask you to specify the amount of offset you want to create. For, let's say in our case, as it is a 10-inch wall, so 10 inch is basically 254 millimeters, but for convenience purpose basically we use 250 mm, and so we compromise in that case. So whatever, we are using 250. So now you can see, if I click on this object, you can see it is being offsetted by 250 mm. You can offset in this direction or outer direction as well. But as I have, let's say my plot is 30 meter by 20 meter. So obviously I'll offset and show the walls inside of my plot, not like outside of the plot. And this is a built-up area I'm considering. If your site plan is 30 meter by 20 meter, obviously inside this area you have to first keep the offset that you want to provide. Okay, let's start in that way also. Let's say O enter. Then I need to specify the distance. Maybe from the side I want to provide a distance of 2 meters, so 2000 mm. So this much space I'm providing inside my plot. Maybe from the left side as well, and maybe from the right side. I mean, yeah. Let's suppose this is the front. This left side is my front. Okay. So in that case, maybe from the front I want to provide more, like 5 meters of. Okay, then I can enter 5000. So this is the area. Okay, this is the area where I'm gonna draft my plan, like considering all the offsets, and these offset values you'll get it from the bylaws itself. So don't need to worry about that. So inside this area I can start drafting, and you can, and offset and trim, these are two very important commands because you'll be using this very often. Just tr enter space and like double enter actually, so you can easily trim this. See, the thing is, with better AutoCAD knowledge or better proficiency in AutoCAD, your drafting speed will increase. That's all. Nothing more than that. Your drafting speed is good or your drafting skill is good, that doesn't mean that you are a better representer. Keep that in mind. If you want to represent your drawing more proper, more technical, and more, in very clear way that is easily readable or understandable by different category of people, you don't need to be a like professional draftsman, or you don't need to be a better draftsman. You need to have the common logic, common sense, which will be applying in AutoCAD. And with practice, anyone can become, or anyone can speed up their drafting speed. But what is more important, that is the concept. How you are going to represent that, that is more important. And if someone combines both of this, like he or she has the proper technical knowledge and representation skill, and at the same time having a super fast speed, then it is tremendous. It is like he will be the best out there. So that is the thing, because I have seen many people who are very much proficient with AutoCAD. They can draft a plan within 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, a simple plan, 5 to 10 minutes they can draft it, or maybe 15 minutes max. But maybe their drawing is not that much technical. Maybe their drawing is not that much easily readable or understandable. So there is no use of saving his extra time and doing it in fast way. All you need to see is the result. Yeah, time matters, but at the same time, if your product or the drawing that you are producing is not technical or not well represented, then what is the point of saving those time, right? So someone was raising a hand. Apu, you want to ask something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, say.
Sir, when you draw rectangle, when you give command rectangle, you get two options for so giving the giving the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Not area. They are asking for
dimensions.
Mhm.
So how these two options come? Actually, I am not able to see in my version.
Which version
These two
are you
options.
using? You are using
Actually, I
2018.
am using 18.
There should be, because I'm using 2016. I think it
No,
is.
sir. Actually,
No, see. What happened? I can understand. You can do one thing. I think you have already selected something else, like chamfer maybe, or fillet. Which you need to provide to chamfer the corners. Or maybe you are using some different types of. You are using polygon.
no, sir. It is rectangle only. But
You take a screenshot and send me in the WhatsApp. I'll tell you. Don't worry.
okay, sir.
Yeah. So these are the things, right? Okay. So these are the things you can use, because you may be very good in AutoCAD, but at the same time, if you are using these basic concepts, or if you are choosing a convenient path, it will be much better. It will make you a pro draftsman actually. So what happens? One more important thing, that to draw the same thing, different people approaches in different way. Okay, so maybe to draw this, I have followed some way that I have already shown you. I have used the offset command and all that. So maybe to draw this, you could also have used a different path, different way. For example, I'll show you that. Like I'm using offset command and 2 meter offset, right? So in that case, that it is rectangle, it will easily, yeah, you can see the screen. So it will easily offset. So basically it is offsetted from all the 4 sides. So now what I can do, I can explode this. I'm just doing this just to show you. Okay, then I can move this more 3 meters. Then I can trim this off. So see, the result output is same, but the ways are different. Maybe it took me more time for this particular case. Maybe for this particular case, I took less time, consumed less time. So it depends on you. And in that case, or in that point of view, your AutoCAD knowledge matters. Because if you have a pretty good idea about different options or different commands, you will approach in a very faster way. Your time will be saved with knowing much or many of the commands, you can save your time. But like to represent something or to properly show all the annotations and all those things, you need to have a better understanding. So that is the thing. So in that case, you can use this. Then you can start using offset. So what I'm basically trying to say, that use offset and try to at least draw those who are new actually, because those who are already comfortable with AutoCAD, I know you have already started and finished drafting your plan. But those who are new to AutoCAD, start using line commands, offset command, and trim command, and like prepare the basic wall plan, you can say the floor plan with all the walls. Like for example, I'll show you. Let's say so after like this is my built up area, this inner rectangle is my built up area, so I need to provide 250 mm walls inside this. So I'll quickly do that. Then maybe for the first room, I'll be using, that is 4 meter of length. So that is my room. Then I have a inner wall, interior wall, which is of 125 mm. You can see the thickness of the wall that is changing. Or maybe this particular room is also, you can say 3 meter width, or maybe 5 meter. Okay. So in that way you can draft. Then you can erase these lines. So your room is like you have already made it. So this is a particular approach how you can draft your rooms. And there is also another kind of approach which I basically teach in the uh, building design course, where I say them to first to finalize their conceptual plan. After you have finalized your conceptual plan, what you can do, you can draw the center line diagram of your plan. Okay, so what will happen, you will draw the center line diagram with pen and paper in the copy itself. Then you can, what you can do with the center line, you can offset in both the sides. Okay, for example, in this case I would have used a center line which is exactly in the middle of this wall. Okay, which continues up to the other end. Then I'll like offset it in both direction. If the wall thickness is 125, I'll offset it how much, 62.5 mm in the both direction to get that wall. So that is another way, and that is actually faster, because all you have to do is first draw the center line, then offset and trim. That's all. But at the same time, making that particular center line diagram will take you more time. But in building designing case, there is a plus point of making the center line diagram. That's why I suggest them to go for the center line diagram first, because that will like reduce your drafting time in AutoCAD. But at the same time, doing that center line diagram will be time consuming, but it will help you on the analysis part of the software. But in this architectural case particular, I will not advise you to go for the center line diagram at this moment. You can easily draw the lines and your rooms from the conceptual plan, and then you can make a center line diagram just to show them the center line diagram, or the beam column plan, where you need to show the grids, because you need to show the column and beam grids sometimes. So in that case you need to draw those center line diagrams. So from architectural point of view, I'll not suggest you to do the center line diagram as per now, but you can proceed in this way. Okay, like select a wall, offset it, then do, and then trim. So that is the easiest way you can draft your plans. And if anyone is like doing in some other way and achieving the same result in faster way, you can share it. Like those who are already pretty good at AutoCAD, like who are there, Sayan, Ritika, Apurv. Okay, Apurv is good in AutoCAD. So like you guys can say like how you achieve a faster drafting for like only drawing this or drafting a residential building plan, the walls, the rooms, all those things? What is your approach? I want to know. Is there something else using which you can come to the same offset, right? This offset concept. More or less everyone use this offset concept. So I think it will be same for everyone, because I think this is the easiest way. Or else you can do the same with line commands as well. You can that is of no use, that is nonsense. Like you will start drafting a drawing a 3-meter line from here, then we'll come in this direction. You can do it in that way also, but that is of no use. And see, one more thing I want to give you an example. Like I have drawn a line here, right? Okay, that 3-meter line which is exactly overlapping with this. So I'll use the show you the use of different two selection tools. So I want to delete this particular small line which is overlapping here. So what I will do, if I go for the right to left selection tool, it will select all the lines because it selects everything that comes under it, even a small part of it, right? So what I will do, I know that the line is somewhere here, so I can use this left to right blue selection tool. So it will only select that small line because that is the line which is being completely covered by the blue selection tool, and I can easily delete it. Or you can simply click and select and delete it. But this is the use of selection tool. Yeah, that is a good question, Apur. You have to, whether you want to select whether you want to, yeah, you need to. That's what I have done here. No? I have already defined all the layers, 5-inch wall, 10-inch wall, columns. So now what you need to do, you can go to the layers and click on, everything is white here. Why? Okay, let's say, let me change the colors. For the 10-inch wall, maybe I'll be using red colors, and for the 5-inch wall, maybe I'll be using orange colors. Okay, so those are nothing standard colors, those are very bad colors to use, but still I'm showing you. So what you need to do, first go to your 10-inch wall layer, then start drafting. And even it happens many a times that you forgot to select a line and start drafting, but at least whenever you realize that I haven't selected it, just simply select those and put it under that particular layer, 10-inch wall. So now this is already under 10-inch wall. And also you need to do this, select to by layer, so it will show the color of that particular layer. Then I can add this to the 5-inch wall. Okay, so you need to do all the things within the layers, and you can do it after drafting also. As in my case, I have I was explaining it to you, that's why I forgot. So I forgot to put those inside the layers, so I put it in later. So that is not a big issue, but it will affect when you'll be dealing with a very big plan or very complicated plan. In residential projects, it is like no matter. I mean, there is no such that much issue with that. So don't worry about that. But still, you need to do the practice, and you need to make that habit of using the layers. That's why I'm advising you to go for layers. Okay, so start drafting. At least expect every one of you come with a proper plan with this layered, different walls in different layers, maybe doors in different layers, windows in different layers, and that you can also you need to also consider the vastu if you want. So do all those things and come up with something. At least try something, and whichever problem you're facing, just do one thing, take a screenshot and put it in the group, because even if I am not online, many other are there, they will help you. So no need to always personally message me, because maybe you are stuck somewhere and you ask me and I'm not there to reply you, so you'll get frustrated, you will be paused within your work. So that shouldn't happen, right? So that's why if you are facing some doubt, at least take a screenshot and put it in the group, or take a photo. Maybe someone from our side, or even the students who are already good in AutoCAD, your friends, they'll also help you. So how to set the scale of drawing? Scale of drawing, yeah, that I'll tell you later. But as for now, I'll tell you that just start with the actual dimensions. Many people do this. Many people do what, you know? They'll first put a A4 sheet. A A4 sheet dimension is how much? 297 mm by 210, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Something like this. So now they will start drafting with this A4 sheet. That is completely wrong. Why would you do that? I know you want to print your like drawing inside a A4 sheet, but your drawing should always be in actual dimensions. If you have set the your particular AutoCAD file into mm, do in actual mm. Like as in my case, I have drafted this actual line in 30-meter, 20-meter line. So do your drawing in actual scale. Then whenever you will be setting that particular drawing or shifting that into a A4 or A3 layout, how will you measure the scale and how will you set the write the scale? Okay, beside the drawing, because you have to mention the scale of the drawing. I'll also tell you that. Was it your question, like Imanish?
Yes, sir.
That was your question or something else you asked?
That was my question.
Yeah. So don't worry. So setting the scale is very important, but that will come later. Don't worry about that. Just remember, do your drafting within layers. Do follow the basics, and also like do the plotting in actual scale, like 1:1 scale. In simple language, 1:1, as it is, how it will be in actual a field, just the same dimensions. It is easier because you will not use a calculator each time and calculate and draft, calculate and draft. That is complete nonsense. Don't do that. If you are having a drawing in feet and inches, simply draw in feet and inches, set your sheet into feet and inches and start drawing. Don't worry about whether you have to represent it, that in millimeter, because you can do that later also. That's why. So don't worry about that. Just draft the easiest or the convenient way you feel. Okay, so I think that is all for today. Start drafting, and the people who have already drafted something, you can share that within the group, and the people who have not started yet, please start drafting. Okay, so that's all for today. If any doubt, you can ask. I hope not, because I haven't like explained much today. Just told you how to like what is the use of these two types of different selection options, blue selection and green selection. Keep in mind of that, because that will use many times. Then 3 commands, that is line, offset and trim. The most, these will be the commands you'll be using thousands of times in your drawing. So the line command, the offset command and trim command, these three commands itself can like you can do the complete drafting with these commands only. Then there is some copy, move, rotate, all those commands, mirror commands, that are also useful. But fine, you'll also get to know about the commands. And one more important thing, if you still want to explore the commands, those who are new, just refer to the PDF that ma'am has sent. Like I've shared the PDF in the group. There ma'am have like explained in steps, within steps, like how you have to click here, click this, select this command to draw this, and you can easily draft a plan using that particular PDF. So go for it, start drafting, start like come up with something. And if you're facing some doubts, let me like simply ask in the group. Don't worry. So I think that's all for today. Okay. So see you guys in tomorrow's session. Good night.
Thank